Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. We're going to be testing out another Cerberus fit for T4 Dark Abyss, and this could also perhaps be a possible fit for also doing T5 Dark Abyss. We'll see. This is the previous fit I was using a medium shield booster, and something I noticed is that we have so much capacity to spare. So I'm thinking we can take more advantage of this capacity and have a bigger shield booster that consumes more capacitor, and then get more shield HP per second. And let's say hypothetically we run into capacity issues with lots of neuting, we can always just pulse our shield booster. So we have a bit more maximum tank if we really need it. The fit I went with is this one here, the Pith X large dark cerb. This is using a Pith X type large shield booster. Double the shield boosters before almost. Less capacitor. And a little bit less DPS. I've got a low slot here fitted with a diagnostic system. We've also got an EM shield reinforcer instead of the flare catalyst to improve EM resist, which will hopefully enable us to survive the Cinnabal and Sancho wave, because I worry a lot about those waves. So we'll test this out. We're going to fit this to the ship, see if we can fit it and buy all the missing modules. These are a bit expensive modules, that shield booster. Oh, we don't have enough ISK. I've got some ISK on a different character. I'll just move over some ISK. Alright, there we go. We've got our fit fitted here. Tighten the power grid, but we're just able to fit it. Let's see if we can grab some filaments. Do we have filaments? Yeah, we do have some filaments. Let's grab these here. I've also made a fit that we can use for firestorms. We can test out later. Let's go to the system of Itamo. I like to test out Abyss fits there. Just a few jumps out from G's. Actually, we can do it in Multispectrum Island. I think it's possible here. We check here in the Raging Dark. It is possible actually in Multispectrum Island. So we'll just do them directly here. It's just straight out of Jita. Make it safe. I was thinking we're going to Itamo, but this is actually closer. And also more dangerous because there's probably going to be more people running here. Out of convenience being so close to Jita. Now the difference here compared to the previous sub fit I used is that we've got... actually no, we didn't change the rigs. Okay, we've not got that EM rig in. We can see how this feels without the EM rig. Oh, it doesn't seem like we have this EM rig. We have to get that EM rig. Oh, annoying. Let's go back and get the EM rig. Need to remove that flare catalyst. This shield booster is going to give so much shields. 500 HP. We have 2.5 or 2.6k shield buffer. 1/5 of our shield basically with every boost cycle. That's a lot. It would be nice to have an assault damage control to get that extra buffer. It doesn't feel nice having 13k EHP buffer, actually, can be honest. Especially when we're doing T5. Probably we would maybe swap out this diagnostic system for assault damage control. Maybe a rig for power grid, perhaps. That could be an option. But the best way I found to reduce the power grid consumption of the ship is to just replace the Tech 2 heavy assault missile launchers with Caldari Navy ones, because they use quite a bit less power grid. Destroy the rig. There we go. So I want to see how good the application is, because we've got less DPS and less application with this fit compared to the previous one. We've got a lot more tank boosting and more EM resist. So this should sort of patch the weak points we had against the Sancha and Cinnabal waves that we had previously. Hopefully it'll go good. We can sort of calculate our tank here. The average resist we've got 52 plus 86 plus 79 plus 65 divided by 4. We've got 70% resists. Okay, so that's like dividing by 0.3. 159 divided by 0.3. Ooh, we have a ton of tank. You know, this might be able to have enough tank to run T5 because of how much tank we have. The only thing is that we do not have anywhere near the amount of buffer I would like to have for T5. Now there's dual multi-spectrums. Maybe you could have another Polybolos. And then have like a flare catalyst perhaps. Flare catalyst. Just enough CPU. Then you'd have to get that power grid fixed somehow. And that would be a bit difficult. Perhaps do a Thukker. Large cap battery perhaps? Oh, not really. Could always have like a power diagnostic system. This would be a possibility. Large cap bat. Oh, that's still not enough. Ooh, Thukker. with the power diagnostic system is just enough to have dual multispectrums. Oh, I wonder if this will be enough application. We could save this. Could do type T5 dark potential. Thing is, the webs, they give you so much application bonuses in the dark side, so that's why I think they're so good to use. If we're able to get by without the webs, then it's going to make us an unbeatable force, basically. This much resists. So good. The EM is still very low. Okay, let's go to the biadaptive. And we can use probably the Caldari Navy Scourge. Okay, we've got the Rage. We'll continue here. Biadaptive cache. What is our range? 34 kilometers, okay. And we can deploy drones. Just use a bit of shield boosting. We'll boost so much, so this should be like no issue whatsoever. Keep getting these easy waves with the cruisers. They're so easy. No challenge at all. I want to get Cinnabals. Cinnabals are the ideal targets here. But the dual multi-spectrum Cerberus would be really great. I really would want to test that out. And we apply really well with Rage to these cruisers. We're applying really well. Just use one web and it's alright. So for T4 this seems to be fine. And I think we would easily handle the Cinnabal wave with just the sheer amount of tank we have. Ooh, this was a good loot drop. 27 million ISK. Think of it, 27 million ISK, and we only used 500 million or 500k to get into this site. We're already at like pure profit here. These dark sites, these T4 darks are really great. I have a feeling that these T4 dark sites, they might increase in value actually, because they're probably going to be a lot more popular now that people are using the Cerberus more. Because the Cerberus is a really great ship for dark sites, missile based. It's going to not be affected by the dark site at all like the turrets are. It's basically like an XL Hawk. You could think, in fact, this is pretty much like an XL Hawk, because Hawk has got a shield boosting bonus, and the Golem has a shield boosting bonus as well. So it actually it makes a lot of sense that they've added a shield boosting bonus to this, because it's like all these Tech 2 Caldari ships seem to have shield boost bonuses. And the Cerberus was the only one that didn't seem to have it. Now look how much boost we get from one cycle. But application doesn't seem to be particularly good when we've got only we've got no web. But I can imagine with this other fit we've got, the T5 Dark Potential, we've got more application because of the flare. Then we can also use a crash booster. I think I did add one here. We can add a crash booster to this because that will be actually quite useful. So remove this. We add a crash booster, synth crash booster. And then combine that with using Caldari Navy, I think it would actually be able to do some decent application even without a web. That's the hope. And you could always add some tiny like implants or something like that. But the tank should be no problem. In fact, I think that something like this could perhaps be great for like the Firestorm sites. I made another one that could be used for Firestorm as well. Wait, it wasn't this exactly the same fit. It was pretty much the same fit actually. Yeah, I thought I made a new fit, but it's pretty much an identical fit. Okay, let's remove this. I was making a fit for T4/T5 Firestorm, and then it happened to be the same one that I made here for the T5 Dark. Okay, next room. Go towards the extraction. If there's an extraction node really close, that's okay. Grab this. One volley there. Go for the Redeemer first. I don't need to shield boost that much, waste all our capacity. We're over-wrapping to Oblivion. Move here slightly. Move a little bit to the side. Oh, we've got even automatic suppressor as well, that's perfect. Makes this go a lot quicker. Let's go for the Rodiva. It's going to be repairing everyone. Is that short range? No, it's a medium range. Okay, well, let's go to the biadaptive cache. Can we web? Yeah, we can web. Look at that, we just boost away, no problem. Like, the amount of tank we've got is overkill for T4 standard, and usually you don't have to have as much HP per second tank in dark sides because you're kiting a lot, or your damage, incoming damage is reduced greatly because of the reduced optimal range, just everything going a lot quicker. So we're really going to be really tanky here, and I think that even though we have very low EM resist, we'll have no problem surviving Cinderbell/Sancho waves because of how much raw tank we have. We can deploy our drones. So maybe go for this bi-adaptive cache. The Cerberus is an absolute beast for the Abyss. These dark sides at least. It'll be fun to actually test this against non-dark waves, see how it fares. The only downside is that we will not be able to use the optimal damage type in terms of our offensive capabilities. We'll be having to use probably thermal missiles a lot of the time, and they're not the ones that are bonused as greatly as the kinetic missiles are on the Cerberus. We can move towards the transfer conduit there. They go down so quickly. Even with rage, it's no problem. Just two-shot them. But if you had to say use high-grade Hydras, the missile boosting and plus the improved application of missiles, you would easily, I can see you very easily being able to do T6. I wonder actually if it would be possible. Say you're doing high-grade Hydras with a really blinged out Cerberus, you could do T6 Firestorm. I think that could be an option actually. T6 Firestorm, however, the filament used to be very cheap, but then actually increased in price. I don't know what it is now, but last time I checked it was pretty high in value. Let's keep range here. Take out this ambulance. There we go, easy. Come on, give me some difficult waves, Abyss. Don't just easy waves. I mean, it's great for farming ISK, but how about testing out the combat capabilities of our ship? Oh, look at that. 3 extraction nodes all together. Let's go for all of them. That's really cool to see. What kind of ships do we want to go for? We've got Wardens, Firewatchers. Let's go for Caldari Navy because these Wardens are very small. We'll take them out very quickly. Let's go for just take all these extraction nodes out with all these missile volleys. Great. It should be easy taking out these frigates. 400 volley. And the damage is 1400, so not perfect application, but it's still pretty good. Without any web though, it was only 100 damage, that's very low. And even with web it's 140, so it can be bad at times. Oh, one of them was empty, unfortunately. But at least 2 of them had something in them. Go up to the side here. What DPS do we have with Caldari Navy? 500, oh, that's pretty low. Open up to the extraction node. We can just take out all the frigates considering we've just got Caldari and considering we've already got Caldari Navy in. It'll make application a lot better to these guys. Let's go for the extraction node. Look at that, from like low shields just boost up straight away. See now, take out this Firewatcher and go towards the bi-adaptive cache. Yeah, actually, we can see that when we're not using a web, application is pretty bad to these frigates, and I'm not too happy about that because that means that if we're going to use fits that don't involve webs, we're going to be applying pretty badly. We have to though remember that we will be applying a little bit better than this does without a web because we'll have that flare catalyst and maybe even a booster that could assist our application, like the crash booster. So it will be a bit better, but still it's not that it's like really bad tracking. We can even just like application without a web. I see now 200 volley at those FEL. Not a whole lot. You could obviously use Caldari Navy for extra application. When it comes to the rage, it's not too good without a web. I feel like it's almost like you're doing more damage in the dark side. Because in the dark side you want a web, then it's going to be rage is more optimal damage type. Rage is really great. I just wish the Cerberus had an extra mid slot. If their Cerberus had an extra mid slot, it would be such an OP ship. It's already now pretty powerful with that shield boosting buff it got, but now it'll be like, if it got an extra mid slot, it'll be an extremely overpowered ship. I'll stop boosting to save a bit of capacitor. But this Pith X booster is very expensive, costs the same amount as the rest of our ship, like the hull plus all the other modules, 300 million, and the other 300 million is just the rest of our ship. It's the single most expensive module on our ship, but it is a really powerful module. Yeah, so much shield boosting capabilities, and it uses a lot of CPU, so that's a bit of a downside with it. But it's good because we've got a lot of CPU to spare, so just eating up as much CPU as we can is great because we're sort of fully utilizing the capabilities of our ship. It didn't feel nice when we were using a medium shield booster before and we had so much CPU to spare. It felt like we were just under-gunning our ship. Doesn't seem like we're actually getting too good application here. Only 500 volley, we should be using Caldari Navy actually. Because I think that we have to be moving to get full application, because before I was actually able to get full application with the Rage. Now it doesn't seem to be the case. It could be that we're still, because usually you apply worse when you're still, and also that we've not got that flare catalyst as well that we had before. Because here, 700 volley now, we're doing more damage with the Caldari Navy, even though the Caldari Navy does quite a bit less damage than the Rage. Destroyed. And last one. That was a decent amount of loot though. 60 million, I think we had a bit from a previous run as well. Easy Cerberus. Cerberus is super easy. I mean, 600 million ISK is still a bit of a pricey ship. It's not the cheapest ship you can find, but it's still not an extremely expensive ship either. And being able to do the T4 Dark so smoothly, it feels really good. I love this ship. The only downside I would say to it is probably its buff. Its buff is tiny buffer. Tiny buffer. Very tiny buffer. I'm not sure what you could do about it. Perhaps you could put a large shield extender, but that is very difficult with the amount of mid slots you have. So I think you're just gonna have to buff the resists, and you'll be able to get a bit more buffer. Like put a nozzle damage control, maybe a dual multispectrum somehow, and that could be an option. But smooth Cerberus. We're gonna have to test different fits for different filament types as well. I'm really looking forward to getting into this ship because this ship feels so promising as a great Abyss ship, and I'm loving seeing really good Abyss cruisers, because the Gila is a really good Abyss cruiser, performs really well in multiple tiers and weather effects. But I like seeing new ships that are also able to do the same or be as effective. So it's not just Gila being one of the most effective. Obviously, there are other ships that are effective in the Abyss as well, but they're not as often clear-cut or as popular as the Gila, and I would love to see other ships being as popular as the Gila, so it's not as like a obvious choice of an Abyss ship. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.